I hope you're doing well. I want to thank you so very much for joining me today. In Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12, we read, "For the word of God is living, it is powerful, it is sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the division of soul and spirit, of joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart." What I want to focus on this morning, or this evening, whenever it is that you're watching this, is those first three things about the Word of God. That the Hebrew writer says it is living, it is powerful, and it is sharp. Absolutely it is. And the Hebrew writer compares it to a sword. He says it's sharper than any two-edged sword. Now, I'll be the first to admit I don't know much about swords. I don't. I do know their purpose, things of that nature, but I'm not acquainted with them in any sense of the word. One thing that I do know, I'll say quite a bit about, unfortunately, is kitchen knives. They're sharp, they're powerful, but if you use them wrong, you'll end up like me. You'll cut your finger a couple times, and that's because you're using it incorrectly, or maybe you're just not paying attention. You're not using it and being careful with how you use it. And the same is true, I would say, with the gospel, is that yes, it is sharp, but if we use it incorrectly, it'll hurt us. It'll do more damage than it does good. So we need to be careful to use it correctly in a way that it was intended for. Use it for its correct purpose. And Paul writes about its purpose in Romans chapter 1 and verse 16. He says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jew first, and also for the Greek." So the number one purpose of the gospel of Christ is to save people. That's the entire purpose, that's the entire point of it, is to save souls. And we see this time and time again, say in the book of Acts, that they were pricked in their hearts, and because of that, because of their faith and their obedience to the things that they had learned, they were converted. That is the purpose of this gospel. But in verse 17, he goes on and he gives it another correct use. He says, "For in it the righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith." So number one purpose of the gospel is to save souls, to make sure that these souls are saved. But that's conditional, and it hangs on the second purpose of the gospel, and that is that the just shall live by faith. The just shall live by what's in this book. I want to thank you so very much for watching, and I certainly hope to see you tomorrow. And I hope you have a wonderful day.